Good evening, everybody. It's Mike Araiza here for the Hellion Rocks, and tonight we are very excited to have the one and the only Mr. Marty Friedman. Marty Friedman returns back to the United States after a 12-year absence. We're very excited to have him on tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about the Inferno tour, the Inferno album, and the legacy known as Marty Friedman. Let's do this. All right, this is Mike Araiza here for the Hellion Rocks, and tonight we're very excited. We have the one and only Mr. Marty Friedman on board tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about the chart-topping Billboard album Inferno and his return to the United States after being absent for 12 years. Marty, I just got to say, first of all, thanks again for giving us your time this evening. Inferno, it's an amazing album. I've been listening to it over the past couple of days. And quite honestly, I found it very inspiring. I found it, to me, it sounds like an artist that's just getting started. Congratulations on the album.
Thank you very much. It's a really nice thing to say.
I noticed.
Yeah, I feel great about it. I mean, I'm really happy with it, and expected nothing but got the best response by far of all of my solo records. And even you gave it a great intro that was partially not true. I mean, you said chart topping. It didn't top any charts, but it's exaggerations like that keeps the world going around.
Right.
But it was my first charting solo album ever in America, so I'm happy about that. I mean, it hit number 10 in the rock charts, and it was all kinds of other charts on Billboard. So I'm equally as happy.
Yeah, that's great. And one thing I noticed as going through this album is there is, as always with what we would expect from you, there was a lot of heavy melodic stuff, but it really got heavy. There's also some vocals that you was that your decision? Was that something you decided with the record company?
Yeah, every single thing on that record was my decision. The only decision that was the record company's was to do it. I mean, it was strictly their idea for me to do an album internationally for the entire world all at once, not just for Japan. So they kind of lit the fire under me to do it, and I could see that they were on to something. So I really wanted to do it right and take time to do it. I took a year and a half, and so the content is definitely my ideas there, but the idea to do it was the record companies, and I have to thank them for that.
It's definitely a great album. I like I said, I listened to it, the past couple of days, front to back, while I was running errands, taking a drive, and every song is different. Marty, where do you find all those notes, my friend?
They're in there somewhere, and there's a lot more to be found. I mean, and it's really in finding them really is the challenge, especially when you have released a lot of music over your career. I mean, this is my 12th solo album, and it's always been really important to me to not repeat myself. And how do you do that? So that is always the challenge. But I think the secret to not repeating yourself is to have a lot of non-related musical and non-musical challenges along the way that force you to do things that are really not things that you would normally do. And by doing that, your influences just get all weird, and you get batshit crazy, and then you find some notes that you wouldn't normally find.
Well, there was also a track in here that included a saxophone, and that is really one of the most insane things I've ever heard. And what I mean by that, it was very melodic, it fit, it didn't sound forced, it sounded very natural. What happened with that calibration there?
Thank you. That was, not necessarily thinking out of the box, but just kind of living out of the box, because I was a big fan of the group Shining from Norway, and the leader, Jorgen Munkeby, is the sax player of that band. And just as on a whim, I asked if he'd be interested in collaborating. I never thought it would be realized, and he jumped on it, and we just started working on all these ideas, and then it came together, after a lot of trial and error, really. It was very important to me to have it not sound forced, and I wanted it to be something that I loved. And for someone who's not really a sax fan, I had to really kind of massage it in there to, make it fit into a context that I still liked. So it was tricky, I'm kind of a anti-sax kind of guy, but I'm a very pro strange fusion of metal with other genres kind of guy. So that I had to work it in there, and I'm glad you thought it sounded natural.
It did sound natural, and when I heard that track, and I just had to stop. I was like, did I just really hear that? And it really excited me, Marty, because in today's music, this album has, I noticed, like, lots of different tunings, but I mean, everybody knows your well-decorated career, and that's great. But this album, to me, really comes across as, you know what, this is new, this is current, this is fresh, it's modern, and I think that's awesome. And the other thing that's awesome is you are coming back to the United States after a 12-year absence. You've already toured Japan, South America, and Europe on this album. And so, are you bringing a special lineup to the United States for this tour? I know that right now there's about confirmed 21 dates, right?
That's right, and I will have to thank you for your kind words before this part, and also like to use your comments as the PR for the rest of this tour, if you don't mind. The tour is starting in September in Baltimore, which is my hometown, and finishing up in the beginning of October. I could not be more excited about doing it. It's technically my second solo tour of America, but I like to look at it as my first, because the first one was really a short 2-week run on the West Coast, so I don't like to count that. This is my first time, and so much has happened to me musically and in my career, so many experiences to draw from, that this American tour is just going to be a total fun event for me, and my band is just like beside themselves. None of them have toured America before, and coming from Japan, it's going to be really exciting. And these guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, it'll be hard to concentrate on me because my band is going to blow me away. So it's really going to be an exciting evening. And the support act is a band called Ex Mortis, and they're just a really super band. And I think it's going to be a real insane night. And I really don't want anybody to miss it out there.
Well, I hope and I believe that you're going to sell all it takes. I expect a sold out show every night out there. Hopefully there will be lots of publicity about this. This is just something that you can't miss. If you love music, if you love live entertainment, if you love heavy metal, and the thing is, Marty, is this really does not come across as a quote unquote guitar album. I never found myself listening to any of these tracks and growing fatigued of hearing lots of notes and stuff like that. So that just shows you've been doing this for a while, as we all know, and there's been so much new music out lately, and I just did not feel that at all. I've listened to it several times over and over, and I would like to talk about, there's a David Davidson. He did a track.
Yes.
How did that work out?
I heard of his band Revocation through the record company, and I was just blown away. I thought his band was just exactly where I thought that heavy metal and thrash metal should be going in 2015. So I really thought they were a good example of cool band. And, he said some nice things about me in the press. And I just thought, it's the biggest flattering thing when someone cites you as an influence, but their own music doesn't sound anything like me. You know what I mean? It's one thing if there's some clone guy out there who says they were influenced by me, that's fine, but he's got his own identity completely unrelated to anything that you could directly directly relate to my music or my influence. He's totally got it on his own. And when a guy like that, says, good things about my influence on his music and all that, it's mind blowing. So when I heard that, I really wanted to see that we could see if we could come up with something together and get some of that enthusiasm on tape, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, when I hear that song, I hear just as much him as I do me on it. It's a true collaboration. It's not like blaring out some guitar part on a song and saying featuring. It's really it sounds like either he joined my band or I joined his band or we made this new band. I mean, it's totally a collaborative effort.
And every song sounds like that, Marty, in my opinion. Every song is its unique little entity, but it still has a flow of an album that we all grew up loving.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That song has a great chorus. It has a great verse build up, and it takes that direction that a Marty Friedman album always takes you in. Like, where did that come from? That's great.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, you're getting it exactly where I wanted to get. Obviously everybody's going to enjoy things for a different reason. And, the reasons that you mentioned are the reasons that I set out to do. Of course, if people enjoy it for any other reason, I'm equally as pleased. Whatever it takes, whatever gets you off on it is fine by me. That it's all good. But just for the reasons that you say, it's pretty much the way I set out to do it. So I feel like I accomplished it.
That's great. And then, of course, you have the calibration with Jason Becker, and that song, those tracks are just absolutely beautiful. That's a very interesting thing. Can you briefly tell us how did you guys work that out? I mean, number one, Jason Becker is just an inspiration to all of us, of course. But this calibration, you guys have this long history together. Decades. How did that work out?
Well, it was really quite similar to the stuff that we did when we were playing together. We would both have a bunch of ideas, and then I would take those ideas and arrange a song out of it. There would be separate ideas. Jason would have his ideas, and he would send them to me, and I'd listen to them and kind of create an arrangement, so to speak. And that's really exactly what happened now, and the only difference is we haven't done it in a real long time. And his ALS has not gotten in the way of his creativity in the slightest, and he's been just creating fantastic music. And I just wanted to be a part of that and document it on Inferno.
Yeah, it was a wonderful track. All of us enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Everybody out there, Marty Friedman. The album's called Inferno. You can get it on iTunes and all the other digital distributions. Do you still have physical copies of this running around?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a big vinyl fan, so it's also available on vinyl.
Great.
And they all sound the same, but I have to tell you, just as a fan, that I think the vinyl sounds just a little bit better.
Right.
Just because I love vinyl, but it's definitely in all the physical copies. And there's also some special things that will be sold at the merch on tour that you can't get anywhere online. So I hope the fans will enjoy it. There's a lot of Maniac things for sale.
That's great. Are you guys going to be doing any type of meet and greets or anything like that on this tour?
We have VIP packages available, which are really cool. The record company and my tour management and all those people have looked into what people are doing on VIP tours and what they're doing right, what they're not doing, and done a lot of research to make sure that we do something that the fans are going to walk away with thinking they really had a good time and got a great value out of it. So, but they're almost sold out. So while there are still tickets available for the VIP, check it out at, prostheticrecords.com will be a place to find them all in one place. But I got to get to my next interview right now.
Thank you, Marty.
Mike, it's been a great pleasure chatting with you. Really, I mean that.
Likewise.
And to see you out there on the road.
Well, I'll see you out there, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.